Okay, this is a state of play with the bay as we start lifting the floorboards. We started by putting some insulation in from the cavity below, which is, as you can see, relatively deep. So we were putting some insulation in and some breather membrane, and noticed that there was a little bit of white mildew on the bottom of one of these posts. As you can see, it is completely rotted away to the point where you can actually get your hand underneath it on what was the wall plate. These have been repaired. That one is loose, as you can see. That one is resting on a floor plate. This one, however, is resting on pretty much nothing. As you can see, there is a piece of wood there, but that is just loose, and in fact I can take that out if I wanted to. Okay. The other joists have had their ends cut, so they are no longer cantilever in the bay, and as a replacement they decided that these bits of wood could just be plopped in, that basically ended up doing nothing. They rested on these bits of wood here that were pretty loose. Okay, you can just pull out this bit of wood with no problem whatsoever. What's happened is the floorboards have been tacked onto these bits of plywood, and you can actually see that with a bit of a yank, let's just look at this, with a bit of a yank, the whole thing just comes out, and there it is. Whoops a daisy, there we go. And you can then see that underneath, there we are, just in that spot there, we have a nice air gap just underneath the window. You will note that the water penetration on the inside of the wall, the floor down here is really damp, and probably has been for some time. So there's no lip on the bay wall to stop water ingress. There was a tiny piece of mastic on the outside that's probably worn away over time, and that's what's caused an awful lot of the water ingress. The stud wall here is essentially what is holding up the bay, although the bay window itself just seems to like floating in mid-air, which is thankfully good for me. These two joists are okay, so we are actually looking like we are sitting on a solid piece of timber there as a wall plate, but pretty much every other joist that we've got is ropey. This one you can see has rotted away down here underneath. The wall plate has rotted away there. Then we have this piece of wood that is again got a big hand gap underneath. There we are. This is a great piece of repair. I think they have not even cut off the ends. As you can see, hopefully in there, this end is completely rotten on the top. There we are. So, and that is just disappeared completely. The end of the wall is about here, and the end of the wood is about here. So we have another 2 inches before it actually hits anything, if there was anything on the wood in itself. These bits of wood have been tacked onto the side of the joists, but as you can see, they don't really kind of go anywhere. And themselves, there is again nothing underneath, so they are just in thin air, literally. This one as well has the gas line going underneath it, so there's the gas line right underneath the joist, and that is probably another cause of water ingress from outside, which we'll have a look at in a minute. So all in all, what needs to be done is all of these joists need to be cut back and removed. What's left to be treated so that the rot doesn't go into the other side of the room. There is a wall underneath here, not far back, so they need to be replaced with a like-for-like joist, spanning from that wall to this wall here, and then I will put a new wall plate on the top with a DPC, and have them properly cantilever into the bay so that the bay can be supported, but effectively all of that is null and void.